Urban Therapy with Sun 752, and this your daily go-getterism number 756 for October 28th, 2016. All right, so, yeah, that's right. Tonight I want to talk to y'all about an immaturity standoff. An immaturity standoff. That's when two people who act childish are going at it with each other like a couple of rams. But they're not arguing with each other necessarily. What they're doing is fighting to get the other one to budge. So it's kind of like two stubborn bulls or two stubborn mules on a standoff. They're not doing anything productive. They're not getting anything done. But the worst part about it is that both parties normally have a lot of potential, and they really are just wasting their time and energy trying to out petty each other. Petty. Let's talk about that word petty for a minute. Now, when I was growing up, being petty wasn't a good thing to do. If somebody accused you of being petty, that means that you were small. That meant that you dealt in things that were insignificant. That meant that you dealt in things that really didn't matter, that didn't move anything, that weren't worth the time or energy that anybody would put into it. It was a straight diss if somebody called you petty. It was a straight diss. In the 70s, in the 80s, and even in the 90s, that was a diss if somebody called you petty. You did not want to be associated with anything petty. Fast forward to 2016. I think the first time that I heard the term petty being glorified was definitely on social media, but probably about 2 or 3 years ago. And it took me back, like, what? You glorifying being petty? Because online, on social media, yeah, being petty is that shit. That means you do little things to people that you don't really know. You know, you make them mad online because you can't get to them physically. You can't even get to them really, you know, in a sense, to whereas you can see what's happening with them and to them. But you can tell by their reaction online that you have gotten to them, because they may go back and forth with you on a post, commenting and things like that. They may use all caps or all types of exclamation points, you know, use curse words and all that kind of stuff, and they're really showing their emotion. They may even go as far as to block you online, unfriend you, block you, and whatever. That's how serious it is with this online thing. And you wouldn't think that it was really like that, but it is. And I'm not even going to try to trivialize it or minimize it because hey, there are some things about being online that we don't really pay attention to in the sense of it being beneficial. First of all, in order to participate effectively online, you have to know how to read well and you have to know how to write well. Very rarely do people know how to do both things well. And you can tell. You can tell by their responses because they can't write that well. So they're not going to express themselves that well. So they're going to express themselves in a way that you can definitely understand it, but it's not going to be all that legible and it's not going to be all of that articulate. But if you are able to communicate well online, that means that you are able to write, which means that you have learned some things. So the pathways in your mind are a little bit different, which amazes me that somebody like you who can read well and write well would indulge in petty behavior. Because in my opinion, petty behavior is something that people who can't communicate and who don't know how to read and write well should participate in. Because if you know how to read well, write well, that normally means that you know how to communicate well. And if you know how to communicate well, why would you be petty about your communication? I mean, listen, this is just my opinion. I'm not saying that what I'm saying is 100% true, because it's not. It's just my opinion. But when we're glorifying petty behavior, you know, getting in people's inboxes, you know, finding out who they know, who your mutual friends are, getting in their inboxes and creating a little, how do I want to put it? Sort of like a network of negativity. So you hit that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, just to get to that one. And it's petty and it's small. And we're talking about people who don't even really know each other. But then you have people who know each other who, instead of confronting each other in real life offline, they want to do their work online so the rest of the world can see. Because they're petty and because they're immature. And you can't deny that the people who are doing it are immature, because if you weren't immature, you wouldn't do these things. You wouldn't make time for it in your schedule. You wouldn't glorify it, and you wouldn't repeat it. And you would probably try to limit your association with people who indulge in such foolishness. So when we start talking about an immaturity standpoint, I'm sorry, y'all. I did that. I must have done that 5 times during the show this morning, saying standpoint instead of standoff. And I'm the one who developed the show, so it's ridiculous. Anyway, when you start talking about an immaturity standoff, you're talking about two people who are petty or who are immature and childish, and who both engage in immature, childish, petty behavior. And one of them wants the other one to submit to the other one. And neither one of them are going to do it, because they are not only immature, petty, and childish, but they are stubborn, immature, petty, and childish. But what does it get you? I can't think of anything that it would get you beneficially, personally. But I guess, wait a minute. Personally, I guess it makes you feel, if you really subscribe to the immaturity game, the pettiness game, and you have people who reinforce that, who say, oh yeah, do that. Yeah, there you go, son. Yeah, get that nigga. Yeah. If you're around other petty, childish, and immature people, they're going to cheer on that behavior, and it's going to make you feel good for a hot second. Here's the thing. What happens when you grow up? And you might grow up right in front of yourself. And what I mean by that is, once you really turn the mirror on yourself and see your behavior, it makes you want to back up a little bit and say to yourself, you know what? That ain't really that cool. And I can't believe these cats are cheering me on to do this little dumb shit. So now you got to make a decision, because now you got to decide to undo the foolishness that you have done, but you can't do it in front of the people that cheers you on, because it's going to make them look stupid. So you done aligned yourself and pledged loyalty to some foolishness, to childishness, pettiness, and immaturity. Why would you pledge allegiance to that? Your mom ain't raised you like that. Did your daddy? Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, man, and leave the pettiness alone. Leave the childish behavior alone. Leave the immaturity alone. You're a grown man or woman. It's time to put them petty, childish, immature games away. Start playing with the big boys. Believe me, it makes you feel better inside when you start doing the right thing, when you start making the right decisions. Because when you decide to grow up, and when you decide to reject the ridiculousness, the pettiness, the childishness, and the immaturity in other people, it frees you up. And then it's like something comes over you. It's like a pettiness, childishness, and immaturity repellent. And people can see the change in you. And you want them to do that. Because that other shit, man. The Urban Therapy People's Son Take the Fall event is tomorrow, October 29th. 10 a.m. We meet at Rittenhouse Street and Wissahickon Avenue. Wissahickon Avenue, Rittenhouse Street in Germantown. Beautiful Germantown. Historical Germantown, as a matter of fact. And we going back up in them woods, and we going to get our hike going, and we do it every last Saturday of the month. Don't miss it this month, because it's going to be such good time. It's going to be such a beautiful thing. Think it ain't when it is? So yeah, come on out, man. Have a good time, have some fun. Kick it with some people that's down with something fly, something fresh, something hype, something dope, something deaf, something like no other. And it's a free event. We do it every last Saturday of the month. So if you really want to come through, come on through tomorrow. But make sure you listen to the Daily Go Get 'Emism show tomorrow. As a matter of fact, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Call in number 319-527-6199. Once again, the number to call is area code 319-527-6199. Or if you want to listen online live and chat it up, you go to blogtalkradio.com/Sun752. So what we got? We stamping out pettiness, childishness, and immaturity. We're going on to take the Then we do the Daily Go Get 'Emism show tomorrow at 6 a.m. Then we going to take the fall event 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. I mean, everything just works out like beautiful. I'll start tomorrow.